Hey everyone, chaomix here. I was a super angsty teenager. I dyed my hair black at one point, Hot Topic was my favorite store, and I listened to Linkin Park all the time. And I still do, in case you couldn't tell by my shirt. Was it a phase? No, mom, stop asking. Nah, some of it was, but I'll admit that a lot of my taste did carry over to today. I'm an emo boy at heart. What can I say? So I'm sure you can imagine my delight when Edgy the Hedgie, aka Shadow the Hedgehog, made his debut in Sonic Adventure 2. Now, I'm mostly joking about Shadow being edgy. That's a pretty common misconception about the character that even the writers of the series get wrong a lot. But Shadow definitely has a certain angst to him that I identified with back in the day and even now. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. This one. Not this one. His mysterious introduction, tragic backstory, his ability to use chaos control and match Sonic's speed. He's so freaking cool. What an awesome character, like seriously. Shadow being front and center right next to Sonic on the game's box art was enough to get me hyped as a kid. But what if Shadow never existed? Believe it or not, there's actually a timeline where this could have reasonably happened. Before the Shadow that we've all come to know came into existence, there were a few other character designs that would rival Sonic in this game that were being tossed around. Today, I'd like to talk about Terios the Hedgehog, the forgotten Sonic character. Before we get into it, I'd like to introduce today's sponsor, Boxu. Boxu is a premium subscription snack box that delivers unique assortments of Japanese treats. You'll find a different themed box for each month, so the variety of snacks are always changing. One of my favorite parts about Boxu is that I'm always trying snacks that I've never had before. My personal favorite snack from this month's box were the wasabi rice crackers. I'm a sucker for wasabi. Seriously, they were delicious. I was snacking the entire time I was editing this video, and I already can't wait to get next month's box. And especially during the holidays, what better way is there to experience a custom-made taste through Japan than with friends and family? Boxu makes for the perfect holiday gift for anyone who loves Japanese snacks and culture, especially now where traveling can be quite difficult. And while we're talking about travel, not only would they be getting Boxu, but anyone subscribed before December 31st will automatically be entered for a chance to win free tickets to Japan. One lucky winner will be selected for this giveaway, and I'll include a link in my description for more details and other methods of entry. So especially if you'd like to win free tickets to Japan, use code chaomix10 or the link in my description for 10% off your own authentic Japanese box subscription from Boxu. You definitely won't want to miss out on this amazing fun-sized taste of Japan, so order yours today. Big thank you to Boxu for sponsoring this video, and with all that being said, let's get on to today's video. Sonic Adventure 2 began development as soon as Sonic Adventure was released in the US in 1999. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Sonic series, as well as send off the final home console Sega would ever produce, Sonic Team wanted to make this game as big and bold as possible. Everything needed to be faster and more action-packed than before. And you can really tell that they put their all into this game because I think a lot of this mentality really shows in the final product. Because after only a year and a half, Sonic Team created what many consider to be the greatest Sonic game of all time, Sonic Adventure 2. The entire game has this good versus evil theme, as you can clearly see from the title and character select screen, and by experiencing the game's story. What's so awesome about Sonic Adventure 2, besides playing as Sonic and Friends obviously, is playing as the adversaries of Sonic and Friends. This was the first major Sonic game to have you play as the primary antagonists of the Sonic series, like Dr. Eggman. And we'd also get introduced to two new antagonists to even out the playing field, with Rouge the Bat and Shadow the Hedgehog. But let's back up again and focus in on the early development of Sonic Adventure 2. Before all else, Sonic Team needed to decide what Sonic Adventure 2 wanted to be. Their team location scouted and drew inspiration from both San Francisco and Yosemite National Park. After all, this game was developed by Sonic Team USA, the American division of Sonic Team at the time. As such, you can clearly see the more American-inspired flavor throughout the game, especially when compared to the first Sonic Adventure. What was hot in America at the time? Edgy action movies, skateboarding, alternative rock music. And what happens when you put all this stuff in a blender and try to mold it into a character? Well, I think you already know. If you've watched some of my other videos, like my Sonic art styles retrospective video, you might know that character designs are created after lots and lots of trial and error. It was the same for Sonic himself. Sonic was originally going to be a character named Fields the Rabbit before Sega slapped themselves on the face with some cold water and realized this was a dumb idea. So let's make it even more dumb and make him a speedy blue hedgehog instead. Now we're thinking. So during the production of Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow was no different. Shadow's character design is amazing with his cool hover shoes, supersonic derived spikes, the Kabuki inspired red decals all over his body, but it didn't just come to be this amazing overnight. Before Shadow the Hedgehog was Shadow the Hedgehog, he was originally named Terios, which literally means reflection of. As you can probably tell, Terios looks a lot more Sonic-like than what we ended up with Shadow. Very fitting, seeing as this character was always meant to be Sonic's doppelganger. Actually, now that I think about it, one of the biggest plot holes, as some people like to call it, is how the military and even Amy herself mix up Sonic and Shadow, leading to Sonic being framed for Shadow's crimes. If you consider that this was probably the design that was being used at the time of writing the script of SA2, it really makes a lot more sense how they'd get mixed up. I think they changed the design of Shadow after they wrote this bit in and kind of just crossed their fingers hoping it still makes sense. In most of his concept art, he has spines similar to Sonic, but they're usually a bit longer and more pointed down. There's also this reoccurring theme of a scar on his left eye. Makes me wonder if we would have gotten some additional lore for the origins of that scar or not. Then there's this variation of Terios that gets a bit closer to Shadow's final design. And holy shit, wait a minute. Infinite? Several character concepts were sketched up and oh god. If you think Shadow the Hedgehog is edgy, Terios says, "Step aside, get on my level, bitch." There's quite a few of them, like this one with this super cool cloak, or this one with these big goggles and this microphone thing on his head. Dude, you're gonna want to make sure that's in your ear if you want to hear out of it. Oh, and how could I forget this one with the swoopy emo bangs? This guy's out here looking like he just binge listened to the entire Blood on the Dance Floor discography. But hey, I don't have any room to talk. A lot of these character designs look pretty silly, but this is what it took to get to Shadow's final design, so I'm glad they happened. But there's one design that many fans consider to be the unofficial, official Terios design, and that's this one right here. If you look up Terios the Hedgehog on Google right now, most of the images will actually be fan art. But the fan art that exists of him are all mostly this design. It's the one that's stuck for whatever reason. Again, it's one of the more Sonic looking ones, but he's got this muscular upper body that not even characters like Knuckles has. I'll admit it's pretty interesting seeing a Sonic character with some muscle to them. Maybe a bit cursed, but interesting nonetheless. I think you can tell that at this point they were just taking inspiration left and right from Dragon Ball Z without any shame. But I mean, has there ever been any shame? I'm a big fan of the golden brackets around his arm, the piercing red eye, and the giant scar on the other side of his face. I don't know, I always thought that a lot of these designs, not just this one, were really cool. And obviously, so do many fans. At least the fans that know about this forgotten character. There isn't a lot of discussion about Terios. And it makes sense, there isn't a lot to talk about in general. With only a few official statements from Sonic Team describing their creative process during the development of Sonic Adventure 2, along with just a handful of pieces of concept art, Terios' legacy is barely enough to fit a Wikipedia article. Because when researching for this video, there was no Wikipedia article. Terios does have a more subtle legacy though. Like I pointed out earlier, I think some of his character design may have influenced that of Infinite from Sonic Forces. Say what you will about the game and Infinite as a character, but I think his design is pretty awesome. Some also say that Terios' design inspired the early concept designs for Blaze the Cat. I mean, just look at them side by side, I think you'll see what I mean. And it's possible that some of his design was repurposed for Darkspine Sonic from Sonic and the Secret Rings. They have a pretty similar color palette, so I don't think it's too far of a stretch. But besides his design elements, there's also this piece of 2D artwork that's essentially this pose from Terios repurposed for Sonic. This pose is pretty sick, and in fact, I ended up loosely referencing it myself for the thumbnail of this video. Fun fact, by the way, Uekawa actually drew his hand over here backwards. Rough. There's a small handful of things from Terios that do still live on, both officially and unofficially. Because I think one of the best things that his legacy has spawned is this mod for Sonic Adventure 2 that replaces as much of Shadow as possible with Terios. It's called the Terios Conversion mod and was created by Deer4TL and Nibrock Rock using some awesome 2D art by SA2 OAP. This mod is an awesome look into the what if scenario where Terios actually was the finalized design of Shadow, and I really don't think too much would have changed if he was. Terios was always meant to be a similar character to Shadow after all. Both of their names allude to them serving the same purpose as being a counter to Sonic's character and motivation. They both feed into that late 90s, early 2000s idea of coolness at the time, and they both do share some iconic character design elements that the series is known to have. Terios is a really cool character that never made it past the cutting room floor. I'm glad to see that certain aspects of his design would go to live on, but man, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want more of him. The main purpose of this video is simply to let people know that this guy exists. I mean, for crying out loud, this guy doesn't even have his own Wikipedia article at the time of making this video. Conceptualizing characters, or really anything, is gonna be heartbreaking, because you're inevitably gonna have to scrap things along the way. Because that was the fate of Terios the Hedgehog, the forgotten Sonic character. Hey everyone, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, leave a fat like and subscribe for more content such as this. I try uploading on a weekly basis. In the comments below, let me know what you think of Terios the Hedgehog. Would you have preferred him over Shadow, or are you glad that Shadow is what we ended up with? And to take that discussion even further beyond, make sure to join our community Discord. I'll leave the link to that in the description. And last but not least, I gotta thank my amazing channel members. Thank you so much, you guys absolutely rock and are the biggest reason I'm able to keep doing this YouTube thing on a weekly basis. If you'd also like to support me for only $2, along with getting some pretty awesome perks, press the join button beneath this video or the channel membership link in the description for more details. And with all that being said, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Peace.